in our Kwentuhang Cybersecurity. So this afternoon session is very usable for all of us, because it has something to do with how we live our lives in the digital space, and how this topic impacts our daily lives as well. So with me is our member of the board, and of course the vice president for training and events, Mr. Oka Bisaya, and our another member of the board, and also a vice president for finance of PixPro, Ms. Sheila Velasquez. Mr. VP Oka, can you introduce our guest so we can start the ball rolling?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy to see you again. This is the third Friday that we're seeing each other, and it's always exciting to be with you. And so today it's another very good Friday for everyone, as we have a very special guest, no? Two guests, as a matter of fact. But let me introduce first our first guest. And we were just having a conversation earlier, and I'm gonna quote him, no? One of his last statements that I heard from him. He said that any glitch in the digital infrastructure, no, as we're getting more digital, companies, governments, businesses, can bring down a government, a bank like his bank, and businesses, you know. So it's really very important for us to secure our digital infrastructure. No? That's why cybersecurity is a key, thing that everybody needs to embrace and internalize. No, so Mr. Noel Santiago is the current Chief Digital Officer of BPI, who has seen the digital transformation of BPI for the last 5 years. No, and as he said, he was living in Singapore for almost 25 years. And he decided to go back to the Philippines, no, because he loves BPI, as it was BPI, which is his first customer in his early years, no, in the IT industry, being part of NCR, no, Noel. And so he was happy to go back about 5 years ago. And as he shared, BPI, I think for everyone's information, has gone so much transformation, and now we have we have what we call the new BPI, and Noel has been instrumental in bringing BPI to what it is right now. And of course, I think if you look at our technology partners, Noel, we have the technology partners that you're back. Yeah, I think most of them are also. I think all of us are in BPI. Which is good news. So Noel, thank you very much for being here in the session, and you're gonna be talking about, of course, fraud management, consumer fraud management, which is very very key. And then of course the second guest, another veteran banker, who has been in Singapore for quite some time, hasn't gone back to the Philippines since pandemic, and he is looking forward to meet you everyone, including us, here in the Philippines. He used to be a banker, but he moved to RSA about 3.5 years ago. To oversee the Asia Pacific, some vertical businesses that they're doing. So Mr. Ramon Karingal is also with us to join Noel, and of course our chair, Angel Redoble, and later on Ace, I think, if he can join to discuss a very important topic. So welcome, Noel and Ramon.
Thank you.
Sheila?
Yes, so thank you, VP Oka. We'll be transferring the floor to Ramon so she can share some insights and trends regarding our topic about fraud awareness and mitigation. Ramon, over to you.
Okay, let me just get my screen up. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
On, we can.
Do you see in full screen?
You need your audio is a bit low, Ramon.
Right. So what I'll do is stop my video so that just to improve my hopefully improve my audio if you don't mind.
Okay.
So how is that now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Siguro before
Okay,
you
great.
start, Ramon, no, just BPO ka, just to give our audience a little backgrounder. So about RSA. So RSA, they help organizations manage risk in this digital era, and uniting stakeholders, integrating technologies, and transforming risk into rewards. That's a very a strong statement there. So that's so far the RSA has been helping the community to for us to be able to bring down our risks. Okay, Ramon, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Sir Angel. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to PixPro for giving us this opportunity to participate in this Kwentuhan cybersecurity session on fraud. Even before this COVID pandemic, fraud has already been on the top minds of FSI organizations, especially banks, right? In my former organization, we had various groups focusing on cybersecurity and fraud separately. That sometimes it took quite a while before we could resolve a fraud issue, right? So to be more effective, various groups were collocated and sometimes even consolidated to form what we called a fusion center. So we had our security operations center, even the physical security team, which we call CSIS, and then the network operations command center, even the command center for managing data center. The fraud team, they were collocated in one floor to form what we call the fusion center. The whole idea really was that working side by side with each other, it would make it a lot easier to huddle and coordinate to resolve fraud issues. But this COVID pandemic has really brought a completely new normal, as you would say that most people had to work from home, and whenever there's an upsurge of new cases, people are not even allowed to go out, right? So this this not only accelerated the digital transformation, but more so reinvented everything in how we live, how we shop and pay, and who we trust. Since the pandemic, we have observed explosive growth in live and on-demand services. Zoom alone counts for more than 300 million daily participants. In my case, I have a weekly Zoom session with my siblings every Sunday for sometimes almost 3 hours. Sometimes we just do catching up, bonding, or even doing karaoke. Um, then TikTok has been one of the darlings of the pandemic. Now it's saying it has around 170 million global users. Then we have the food delivery app like Deliveroo or Foodpanda usage, which exploded worldwide with more than 1 billion users. This has become a necessity, especially during lockdown when people are not allowed to leave the homes, right? Today in Singapore, we just started again the not allowing eating in restaurants since yesterday, and this will last until mid-August. So food delivery has always been like a daily occurrence now, right? For how we shop and pay, global spending on e-commerce reached 4.2 trillion in 2020, or 28% growth. This fast rate of growth is estimated by some analysts to have accelerated e-commerce adoption by as much as 5 years. And then we have seen the defined shift as to who or what entity is providing payments and financial services broadly. Historically, we have looked at traditional financial institutions like banks as a trusted provider for financial related activities. But with the introduction of open banking, most countries now allow digital banking alternatives. Companies like Uber or Grab have embedded payments and other financial instruments into their apps. Retailers worldwide are adding installment loan options at the point of sale. In fact, some industry predict that embedded finance could grow to 7 trillion opportunity over the next 10 years. And if you just focus on payments option alone, estimates predict that 40% of payments could move to an embedded model during this same time frame. Under new normal, under a new normal in this COVID scenario, and most people believe even post-COVID, this is driving the introduction and or scaling of new digital commerce models across the spectrum of pay before, pay now, and pay later options. In the pay before options, we have seen the exclusive growth of curbside and delivery. Food delivery apps, as I said, alone accounts for 1 billion users worldwide. We have Food Panda, Deliveroo, Grab Food, Uber Eats as an example, right? Then cross-border e-commerce continues to see strong growth opportunities, especially in B2C and B2B, right? It's particularly driven by growth of global marketplaces like Alibaba, Amazon, and even Lazada, right? For pay now, you can start with the pay at the gate option, where verticals like transit have been a target for payment expansion over the past 5 to 10 years. But the added push into contactless and the expansion of digital wallet capabilities have helped enable the adoption of these convenient payment options. Like in Singapore, we have EasyLink, and even the Philippines, you have the BIP card, right? Then for pay the table, while QR codes are not new, the continuing in the theme of contactless, we have found a new use case in the restaurant ordering where you just order everything through the QR code, right? So these models are really blurring the lines as to what is defined as an online versus offline transactions. Then you have the buy now, pay later, which was said to have started in Australia and has been one of the biggest areas of expansion in embedded payments and lending and shows no sign of slowing down. Then you have a new digital payment alternative emerging, which is the buy now, split later, which combines installments with P2P payment capabilities. Right? So clearly, these new ways and places for people to pay, right, is expanding the opportunities well beyond the traditional card not present transactions. So this exponential growth in digital commerce has really helped everyone cope or live with the COVID environment. It facilitated our daily lives given our constrained, sometimes lockdown environment. However, the downside of this is that it has expanded the playground for the bad actors, like fraudsters, right? So Nielsen report, which is a long-standing provider of global card and mobile payment analytics, said that e-commerce is observed to be growing at 28% year on year, projected to reach 6 trillion by 2023. On the other hand, gross fraud could reach 33 billion by then. This really translates to 6.5 cents lost to fraud for every $100 spent. In RSA, we send a quarterly Outseer fraud and payments report. And in this year's Q1 report, we have observed that one, brand abuse nearly doubled in 2020. 44% of fraud is occurring in mobile apps. 67% of transaction value is coming from trusted accounts, but from a new device. And card not present fraud accounts account for over 50% of the fraud losses. This really suggests the growing concerns around account takeovers, right? That many banks and that are affecting really many banks and even the payment-related activities. The report also observed several global fraud trends across attack vectors and digital channels. We have observed that around over 50,000 global cyber attacks. Brand abuse attack is seen to be the fastest growing attack vector, with 58% increase from Q4 2020. And brand abuse attacks accounted for 56% of all these attacks. So I can share this quarterly report that we send out to everyone who's interested. Now shifting our focus on the Philippine digital landscape. So there's a global digital report which is available in the data reportal website, which provides very interesting data about the Philippines. For one, Philippine population, as we all know, is now at around 110 million, or an increase of 1.5 from last year, of which there are 74 million internet users, or an increase of 6.1%. And that really translates into an internet penetration of around 67%, right? And then there are reported to be 89 million social media users, or an increase of 16 million over the past year. And the mobile connections is around 152 million. Very interesting statistics. And this is more interesting. Average daily time the user spent in internet is close to 11 hours, which is practically half your waking hours. And this is reported to be the highest in the world. Right? And 96% of users access internet via mobile devices. More statistics. Total e-commerce consumer goods market, 3.55 billion, or a 42.5% annual growth. Total number making digital payment is around 39 million, and the amount is about 10.5 billion, or a 26.6% increase. BSP's goals, I understand, is to shift 50% of the total retail transactions through digital channel. And of course, part of their goal as well is to raise the number of Filipino adults with bank accounts to 70% by 2023. This is, I think, the part of their financial inclusion goal. So this slide shows you the fintech map in the Philippines. And I foresee that this fintech expansion will still continue to grow. In addition, I'm sure you're all aware that we have 4 new digital banks in the Philippines, with Union Bank being the latest, the most recent one that was approved. And I understand that there are more in the pipeline that are being processed. I heard that there's the likes of PNB, Paymaya, even RCBC and Gokongwei apparently are also interested in applying. Shifting to the fraud landscape, based on the Philippine News Agency article last March this year, they cited a global consumer pulse study which reported that 44% of Philippine-based consumers have been targeted by digital fraud over the last 3 months. In terms of attempts against enterprises, the study reported 31% increase. Obviously, the fraudsters are having a field day, taking advantage of the rapid expansion of the Philippine digital landscape, as I've shown earlier. These are some metrics on significant increase on attempted fraud from the Philippines. And you would note that telecom companies has seen a tenfold increase, followed by logistics and financial services. Fraudsters are using the fraudulent credit cards to purchase high-end phone and sell them back on the black market. From our customers globally, we have observed that card not present fraud accounts for over 50% of the fraud losses. So more metrics. Bloomberg News reported last November mentioned that the number of suspicious transactions being reported to BSP has increased by 57%, and that suspicious transactions related to electronic banking grew by 1,680% for inward funds transfer and 5,000% for outward funds transfer. Unauthorized account access through skimming and phishing, with an estimate 2.5 billion, was among the top 3 reasons. So clearly, phishing still dominates the cybercrime landscape in the Philippines. And hopefully Hopefully, this has really set the stage for our panel discussion, especially with my good friend and cycling buddy Noel. Thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Ramon, for that mind-boggling data. Oh, there's for me there are two takeaways there that our digital presence is growing fast and has grown a lot
Right.
for the past few years. And on the other side of it, while the digital landscape is growing, uh, the vulnerabilities affecting
Right.
our netizens using these digital platforms
Yep.
are also growing, and we have seen that in the past news coming from different sources. Last year, I believe that was last year when our the national NBI Cybercrime Division was rounding up suspects of phishing, not only phishing but smishing and vishing.
Mhm.
So phishing is the traditional way of trying to victimize a person through email. But I think last year or 2 years back, smishing also came up, and
Yeah.
this is through SMS. No? That attackers are trying to mimic the bank's name through by sending a text, a bogus
Right.
text message. And then very recently, the phishing were in through voice calls. So I think our other guest, Noel Santiago from BPI, who's leading the digital transformation of BPI. And I heard he is also very much involved in this scams or fraud that affecting our bank customers. Uh, Noel, maybe we can throw the first question at you. How is our situation right now for our consumers that are using the digital platform to do transactions in banking, in buying, and in other transactions online that has something to do with money?
Yeah. First of all, let me just qualify that the attacks is not just phishing, vishing, and smishing, right? The attacks are actually including the combination of the three, right? What makes
Mhm.
it more lethal is the fraudster now are orchestrating along these three lines, right? So it's not a single type of attack, right? So they will do the same three methods, right? And whoever gets victimized there, right? It's a combination. You may be able to get away from phishing because you're more educated, right? You've been forewarned, and you've been reading a lot of the advisory, right? But people ended up in the phishing, right? Because the phishing didn't work, the smishing didn't work. The phishing became more effective because there are certain individuals who are more receptive to calls than
Oh, yeah.
the digital way, right? So it's a combination now. It's not a, I think it's the same orchestrator, but they're doing a shotgun approach, right?
So what you're saying is the perpetrators are innovating.
Yeah, and they, I think they have the good understanding of the psychology of the consumer, right?
Wow,
Um,
wow.
and uh, and from what was mentioned by Mon, we saw that the people orchestrating this are, some of them are locals. In fact, we were able to catch a few of them, right?
Wow.
And the profile, if you will see, are Filipinos, college, university students. Some are just graduated, no, and they're experimenting, right? And the bad thing about this, it gives it the creation of these attacks becomes so easy now that you can actually get instruction in the internet. No? There's even a tutorial on how to do this. In fact, hacking now becomes no longer as glorified as it used to be, right? It's now an idiot-proof way. So
But
uh,
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. Yeah.
that in the past, perpetrators were attracted to do this because of fame, right? Now it's no longer that. It's just purely commercial, right?
It's
Uh,
money. No, it's financial.
it's money, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, now before we go to our lecturer, Mr. Ramon, uh, you mentioned commercial. You mentioned money. How much are we talking about in this? I mean, do we have any idea how much is lost, or how much is earned by these perpetrators? At least, why the incidents are growing? Why more and more young Filipinos or Filipinas are attracted to this kind of malicious activities? How much are we talking about?
uh, if my memory serves me right, uh, there's about 2 to 3 billion pesos
Ah,
last year that was lost to to a combination of all of this, right?
combination of fraud.
It's a combination of phishing, and smishing, and including the identity theft. No, um, so but that was only what's being reported, right?
Yes, yes.
Now there are people who got victimized, but because they know it's their fault and the amount is not significant, who just write it off, right? Now, so we believe it probably more than that, right? Um, that's the
So
amount of.
so Oh, anyway, before I have a very interesting question in this, because in other perspectives, this type of activities, earning money from all these malicious strategies, might also have something to do with terrorism, might also have something to do to other organized cyber criminals. But before we go to that topic, would like to ask RSA, no, or Ramon, how in your perspective as a vendor to curb these threats to our consumers, how are we doing? How are we doing? Are we winning, or are we improving? You are on mute, Ramon.
Sorry. Yes, I guess that's a continuing challenge, Angel, in terms of whether or not we are improving, because as I mentioned earlier, as the digital landscape really has increased exponentially, of course, then you have that a larger playground for all of these fraudsters to operate within. And I'm sure you all know that these fraudsters have all the time in the world, right? They are, especially the young ones, they are very, creative, and they try. And the good thing is they can try and try and until they succeed, right? So they have all the means. And the more sophisticated ones have even sometimes better tools than some organizations, right? And given all the focus of some organizations, their priority may not be focusing on preventing or detecting fraud because they may have some other priorities. So that becomes an issue as well, right? But having said that, more and more, technology is getting available. We tend to be more innovative and try to really see how we can improve on our solutions. And this is not only true for RSA. I'm sure our other vendor solutions also have, are coming into play and trying to help organizations really to fight fraud, because this is definitely an ongoing concern for, especially for the banking industries and for the fintechs as well.
That's a good point. Actually, you mentioned what I was waiting for to hear from you, that you are helping the institutions, you are helping the businesses to bring down the risk and uh, sort of protect the organization from being compromised. But as mentioned by Noel earlier, and I'd like to go back to Noel now, that hacking is no longer has no longer the same attraction to these people as before, because they are not attacking the institutions this time. They are not attacking the businesses this time because of the obviously the improving controls that we deploy on a periodic basis. So they are now attacking the consumers. The consumers who are, number one, probably less aware and less tech savvy. They just use it for their daily needs. Noel, as a banking institution, what can we do with our consumers so that they will also be protected, extending the security controls that we have to our consumers, something like that.
Yeah. As you rightly pointed out, no, a man on the street always interchange the word hacking and being a victim of fraud, no. So just to reinforce, what's happening in the industry right now, it's not about hacking. It's actually the customer being defrauded or fooled into giving away their security credentials, right? So it's really a scam. In the old days, it's what you call budol budol. It's now budol budol in the digital way. Now,
Right.
what is important right now, in our institution, BPI, and as well as the industry, we're seeing a collective effort in customer education. If I may say, close to more than 80% of our communication now to our client is a cyber tips reminder, right? We don't no longer, in the past, the concentration of our communication in our Facebook posting and our YouTube posting is our products and services. But in the last year, we are more focusing on informing customer tips, how not to be victimized, what are the signs that it is a fraud. We remind people never give, we will never ask for your credential. Don't click links that's here. Look at the website that you're going into, right? Uh, we are concentrating on the constant education of the customer. And unfortunately, as we interviewed some of our clients who are telling us that in spite of all of this, they already knew, but somehow when they get the call, they're like hypnotized, right? They're like the psychology of these callers understand what are the hot spots, the words that we will use to get the information, right? Either in terms of urgency, in terms of needs, and so on, right? So, unfortunately, uh, it's still they're attacking the weakest link, which is the customer, right? Now, what are we doing with that, right? Working with companies like RSA and other organizations and our solution provider, we're employing certain capabilities within the organization to manage this, right? We're creating certain controls, we're creating certain, uh, if I may say, intelligence in our capability to detect right? To detect it if this is a transaction that's normally a behavior of the client, and if it's not, we'd rather err on the protection of not pursuing or not proceeding with the transaction itself, right? It creates customer issues, but as a trade-off, we're trying to protect more than not protecting them. So we're
Well,
doing that right.
that's very reassuring. But in our experience, when it comes to educating even our own employees, right? It's very difficult with just 1,000 or a few thousands of employees. It's already a challenge to have 100% of the employees to remember what you uh, ask them to remember to maintain the highest level of security. How much more if we are talking about how many millions of customers and subscribers, including us, no, in our industry. So maybe Ramon, uh, don't you think that there is a need to augment this awareness activities that we are all doing. Even Pixpro is doing all this awareness to our own audience. No, every time we have a chance, we provide the audience a tips on how not to be victimized. But we have seen the numbers, the number, the finance on the financial side, the money lost to this kind of fraud is growing, and even information lost to this kind of activities are also growing. So I think there's a need for us to reinvent or re-engineer what we are doing. On the technology side, Ramon, is there any ideas or any
Yeah,
creative approach to do this to improve our protection to our consumers?
there are definitely ways around as Noel was mentioning in terms of he alluded to what we consider as risk-based authentication, where when we the technology captures really a lot of information about where the customer is calling from, what device he's using, right? So that we can create a pattern, the user behavior pattern of whether, and then over a period of time, see what are the normal behavior of a individual customer. And these are at the individual customer level, not on a generic level. Then we also have the what we call as network intelligence about fraud, which we also feed into our customers, environment, so that they will have better information about a particular transaction, whether it's a bad IP or where they're calling from. Then also there are ways around that, say in like what Noel's organization has implemented, what we call transaction signing, where especially for critical transactions like financial payments, for example, you not only get, you get most of the information, including the amount, right, that was sent. So then, and then you use all those information to arrive at, and then do the push notification and ask for validation whether or not this is the transaction that they're trying to process. So there are ways and means around that. But having said that, as Noel said, it's really sometimes the consumer who really needs more constant and repeated education or reminder about, not sharing of information, because the fraudsters will really try and work on your, you know behavior psychology in terms of how to convince you that, they are real and not fraudsters, right? So it is really still a challenge, but we try our best to help as much as possible through the use of technology, and we constantly try to innovate our solution to help our customers like Noel's organization to be able to detect fraud patterns as transactions are coming in, and to be able to really dimension whether the risk of that transaction is high or it is just low that you don't even need to challenge and just allow the transaction without asking for any, authentication at all.
Yeah, if I may extend that, no, as I talk to my peers in the financial industry, no, we exchange notes, no, and one of the key points that I noted, there was a report that says one of the reported case was the client indulged in this exercise 45 in 45 minutes, no? So he gave away all the security approval and so on. That that's like more than 20 transactions in 45 minutes. So he willingly is a willing party in that session. So no amount of technology was able to address that, because even if the institution was prompting him that are you sure this is a transaction that you're doing, he ignored the message. He keeps on approving, and unfortunately, uh, it was not really the transaction that he was approving. It was something else. Right? So it's really
Okay.
attacking the weakest link.
That's
Right.
really sad, no? But we have a question from our one of our audience. We by the way, magtanong po kayo kung ano yung mga experience nyo sa may mga experience kayo sa fraud, no? Na biktima ba kayo? Pwede po kayong magtanong sa ating mga guest speaker. So, ang tanong ni Via, uh, how reliable are one-time pins or OTPs and biometrics? Uh, Noel, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, one-time PIN and the biometrics is not just it's not the final, trigger to make it secure, right? It is the whole process of how you even reach that point, right? First thing is first, the biometrics before it gets into a registry have many measures that was steps that has been taken in place, right? And secondly, in OTP, it also have the same set of steps that before the OTP is sent to you, there are you have to nominate that that device is yours. You own the phone. I'm talking of all the standard process that an organization do. No, that you have to be verified as the person owning that device. It's been registered to you, right? Even before the OTP is delivered to you, right? Now, there are cases wherein the device is shared, right? What we found out is it's a household or it's the same people in the same uh, group that has access to your phone that's doing the transaction, right? So the OTP in that case was being delivered to a trusted device, but the person operating the device is another person, right? So the liability now is on the customer side. Why did he give his trusted device to another person? Or why did he get access to that? Now, biometrics, right? The other issue on the biometrics is the fraudster was able to convince the customer to say, assign another trusted device and give it away. So the biometrics of the fraudster was now registered because the client himself willingly reassigned the device and the biometrics to somebody else through a phishing attack, right? So both a phishing and a phishing attack was used to orchestrate the assignment of a trusted device to another party, right? So what is the flaw in there? The security framework is secure, but the flaw is, again, the customer being attacked and giving it away.
Ay, ang tanong ko ito kasunod is, with this majority of probably of our mga consumers natin, no, na gumagamit ng gadget, medyo hindi pa well informed pagdating sa security ng kanilang information, no. So yung paggamit nga lang natin ng social media, ang daming willingly are providing their information, no? And itong compromise na ganito starts with always starts with sharing information. In the example mo kanina, sharing of gadgets naman. So yung may-ari hindi niya naintindihan na kahit naka-OTP siya, kung binibigay naman niya yung kanyang gadget sa ibang tao, di ba? So dati, sinasabi natin, huwag niyo i-share yung password niyo. Ngayon dapat isama natin siguro sa ating education ano yun, na wag mong ipahiram yung gadget
Telepono mo.
mo, no? Especially kung yung
Right.
gadget mo ay ginagamit mo for authentication sa not only banking but every logins, no? Every platform na ginagamit mo to for login. But still ang laki ng problema na ito kasi it's growing, and no matter the effort that we spend, no, in educating, parang ang dami pa ring nabibiktima. Para tayong hindi naman tayo umuusad. Now, on the side of the infrastructure, ang nabanggit nga ni Noel na the security is constantly being improved, no, to prevent itong mga cybersecurity related activities against the infrastructure. But the problem now are the consumers. So yung fraud na tinatawag natin ngayon in a digital platform is really focused on the consumers. And if we are talking about billions of pesos lost in a combination of different fraud, no, we are also talking about uh, those who are earning, no, earning money by committing fraud. And this is a napakalaki yatang problema nitong tinatawag natin na consumer fraud natin. So ano ba talaga ang in other countries, Ramon, na may presence si RSA and doing also this kind of, are they winning in this fight against fraudulent activities done towards consumers?
I would say there is also the concerted effort, just like in most countries, for continuous education. I know of one case, as a matter of fact, in Singapore, where even a data privacy officer, which you would expect to be well educated about data privacy, was also a victim of, scam. So and because the fraudster really are playing on your psychological behavior. They really try to understand and try to master. And it's going to be sometimes beyond the use of technology. It's really, a continuous education effort on the consumer side to really be more conscious, right? Even phishing emails. Most companies have that in place, and they do regular testing of their employees whether or not they're caught. I was a victim of that once, where I was, I click on an email and it was a test from our organization, and so that you need to have that kind of constant education to the consumer. And I see this happening in a lot of countries, and this is also a constant challenge, where the challenge now is really in the weakest link, as Noel said, is with the consumer.
Yeah.
And as again, I would always repeat, as we get more and more digitalized, even after post-COVID, I believe this will be a new normal where, everybody will be trying to do contactless payments and things like that. There will always be ways around and finding ways to for fraud to try to game the system or game the consumer and to get
Yeah.
to get ahead of the game, right?
Yeah, Angel, if I may add to that, no, one of the things that we've learned from other countries is the the legal framework in other countries is becoming stricter on this, right? For example, uh, in the Philippines, we're not that strong in our legal system to if an account is used as a mule account, right, as a destination of a fraudulent transaction, unless it's used criminally, there is no liability on that. It's just a misuse of an account. The only way what your organization can do is just close the account. In Singapore now, it's becoming a, a legal thing that it will become a criminal liability, right? If you allow your account to be used in any of these fraudulent transactions, you are also going to be
Right.
liable, right? So that sends a different message. That sends a different message that don't participate, right? Because right now people are giving away their account number and says, if I pay you a certain amount, can I channel the money that I'm stealing from somewhere else to your account so that you can take it out from there, right? So, and it's okay, right? Because even if they get caught, they will just say, I don't know. They just told me if I use this account, let them use this account and they will pay me a certain amount. So that is already, there's already a bill right now that's going to be put up in legislation that would hopefully will criminalize that as well. No? So we're making it more, the less participants in the ecosystem, the harder it is to execute, right?
Siguro para doon sa mga willing participants, that is that's okay, no? We penalize them. Pero alam naman natin din na marami ding incidents na
Innocent.
yung other party is not a willing victim.
Yeah.
Ang napansin ko lang kasi dito, yung consumer na fraud ka na, wala ka na ng pera, kasalanan mo pa.
This is the destination, no? What we're seeing kasi is the consumer got defrauded, and then the destination is an account that already not being owned by the fraudster as well. He is also buying that account from
From
someone else.
someone.
Oo, right?
Okay.
So it's the destination account is a willing party. In if that was that was a good, that's anti-fencing, right? You're buying a stolen good. Why is it if it's a good, there is a law that says it's anti-fencing? But one is it's money being defrauded somewhere else, right? And being children. There's no law. Right?
Sa ngayon kasi, especially ngayon, ang daming nangangailangan ng pera, 'di ba? So if I have a dormant account, tapos nangangailangan ako ng pera, tapos may mag-offer na, bilhin ko na lang 'yan ng 50,000 without additional information, 'di ba? So I think ang nabiktima sa dalawang beses, makukulong pa siya, criminal.
And
Anyway,
also,
ito muna, Noel. Mamaya balikan natin 'yan kasi magandang 'yan. Ito mayroon tayong question although hindi ko masyado nakuha. How about creating a third-party company that can be assigned by customer to talk directly to banks and bank representatives to avoid phishing, smishing, and vishing? Hindi ko masyadong baka naman sisingilin ng mahal si customer. baka para maiwasan parang ang sinasabi ni pamangkin ko to pogi to Santino sa Bidzana, no? Mayroong isang point of contact para maiwasan yung possibility ng phishing, smishing. No, mayroon lang isang kumpanya na ako customer ikaw lang kausap sa bank Tapos ikaw lang kausap ko, parang ganon. Pero is that feasible or
Yeah, but I don't still see the solution there because
wala?
if you're the one
Nandun pa
giving
rin.
it away, right? And one more thing that I want to enforce, no, as a reminder to everyone, you see a lot of games right now in social media, right? They can actually reconstruct your identity for you in the games that you're participating. I'll give you an example. Uh, a horoscope, right? That says, enter your birth date, right? And it'll give you a profile of yourself, right? You are this profile, you have a leadership quality, etc., etc. Right? So all of a sudden, they know your name because you gave it in Facebook, and you gave them indirectly your birthday, right? And there's also a game that says, uh, which school you came from, right? Which school did you? Oh, sa mga group like this, the 80s group or the 70s group. Where did you graduate from, right? And what year, right? So they will even post their photos. They will say, "I graduated from this school on this date," right? So all of a sudden, one of the non-pin verifications that's always sometimes asked by different institutions is they would already publish to the world that he graduated from that school in this date, and they can always reverse engineer your age, right? That's another one. Give me the name of your mother, and they will even say, in the old days, mother's name are the way we name our mothers are gone, no? So they will tell you what are the old ways of naming a girl. So lilista pa nila doon, right? What's the name of your mom, and so on and so forth. And people will say, that's the meaning pala of that name. So when you call a bank, right, or you call an institution, what are the questions that they ask from you? What's your date of birth? And you gave it away. What's the mother's maiden name? You also gave it away. What's the name of your dog? You also gave it away, right? So you have given so much information. You're
Right.
They know more knowledge than your mom about you, no? So
Actually,
ito,
totoo yan. Totoo yan. Si Facebook daw, mas kilala ka pa kaysa kilala mo sarili mo.
and they're willingly giving it away, right?
That's really funny at the same time scary, no?
Yeah.
Kasi yung mga may masamang intent ng mga tao, very innovative sila sa mga mga pamamaraan. Tayo naman on our side, we willingly give our information. Not only our information, including our photos, our even videos of us, no? Yung mga anak natin, mga pangalan ng anak natin. So sa verification process, masasagot na lahat ng fraudster yung itatanong.
Yeah, even
Ila anak mo? Anong mga pangalan ng anak mo? Saan
yeah,
nag-aaral mga anak mo? Oh,
especially yung mga contest, no? Or not contest, something that you would be proud of posting. They will say, why can't you post a photo of your dog, right, with the name, right? So they willingly post the photo of the dog with the name, and they will use that. Is this in the password? No, they will say, could this be the password of this person? Could the birthday be the password of the person? Can this be a combination of the dog's name and the mother's name in the password? So they can just put, and the technology allows you to just create a bot that will take all this information and hash that into a password attempt, right?
yan. So, meron tayong si Daryl Solangon, no, isa sa ating mga kaibigan. Sabi niya, mukhang tinanggap na niya, no? Frauds are already part of our daily life since 1900. Oh. So, yun. So, maybe we just need to help people to prevent or reduce the number of incidents happening. Agree? Agree? Kahit naman may pulis daw, may law, marami pa rin magnanakaw. O parang mag-focus na lang tayo doon sa sa pag-prevent ng incident, which is a good idea, no? Pero yung how, yun ang kailangan nating malaman eh. Paano natin yun gagawin, di ba? Kaya natin ginagawa itong mayroong technology side, mayroong awareness side, but of course, being the users and possible victims, we also have our own level of responsibility, diba? Na hindi ang we have to choose yung pagbigay ng mga information in exchange for something, or not even in exchange for anything, no? Binibigay natin yung information natin. Usually, gaya na sabi ni Noel, yun ang lagi nating problema, no? So, sabi naman ni Tin De Los Reyes Feliciano, awareness is really necessary for everyone. Knowing the risk is a first step to data security. Well said, Tin. No? Well said.
Well said.
Tama yun. Yun ang ano natin. Ngayon, we have roughly 5 minutes. Balikan natin yung ating mga guest speakers kung ano bang ano natin, no? Ano bang mga maitutulong natin ngayon sa ating mga audience. And by the way, this will stay in our Facebook page, and in our previous sessions, umaabot ng mga 5,000, 6,000 yung mga viewers. So, Noel, mauna na tayo sa iyo. Ano ba ang mga very practical tips na maiksi lang para mag-retain sa kanilang isip. Ano ba talaga ang pinaka-basic pero effective na paraan para maiwasan itong ganitong pagiging biktima?
Okay. The bank will never call you and ask for your credential. Never, ever. Right? So anybody calling you, asking for your credentials, don't do it. Right? No one will do that. No, at least our policy, we will never ask customers for any of their credentials. We will not call you and ask you for your user ID, for your password, or one-time PIN. Maski anong gawin nila, right? Don't give it.
Very simple. Very simple yet very realistic, no? Tama 'yon. Actually, not only the bank, no? Lahat ng mga institutions, probably we have the same policy. We will never call our customers and ask for your credentials, especially your usernames, your passwords, your credit card number. Walang gumagawa po sa ganon. So kung may tumawag po sa inyo, either ignore it or you get the information of the caller and then i-post nyo po sa mga Facebook page ng Anti-Cybercrime Group ng PNP or Cybercrime Division ng NBI, or sa Facebook page namin, we can help you out, no? May kwento ako diyan kasi nagpagawa ako ng cellphone na nabasag yung salamin. Hinihingi yung password ng cellphone para pag nagawa daw, matitest daw yung bagong kabit na glass. Sabi ko, dapat hindi kayo nanghihingi ng password kasi mamaya, katulad ng sinabi mo, Noel, no? Meron akong online banking doon sa phone na yon. So, di pag nagpadala ng OTP, doon na makukuha na niya. Okay, Mr. Ramon, straight from Singapore. What can you tell our audience?
I would also just, of course, augment what Noel said. To me, it's really do not share your personal information. As Noel already clearly shared that. Even as mundane as, of course, your name, your birthday. But sometimes we just forget and we just take it for granted na walang mangyayari. Especially like credit card information as well. I mean, you take it for granted. You say, anyway, you say hindi ikaw nag-authorize. But there will always, the fraudster have all the time in the world. They have all the means They have they're even more wiser. They have a dark web where they also share information. So they try to do everything to get one over you. So be careful about your personal information.
Okay, may hirit pa si Santino. Sabi niya lahat ng credit card collecting agencies tinatanong po yung mga credentials. I think ang pagkakaiba nito is hindi ikaw ang uh, tinawagan at nagpanggap na taga-bangko yung tumawag sa iyo at hiningi yung credentials mo. At ito yata is a process eh. No, pagka tinawagan ka na ng credit card collecting agencies, well, ang ano nun is either ikaw ang tumawag sa kanila or sila tumawag sa iyo, no? But definitely the information that is being collected is not the same as the fraudsters. So to add a layer also, it's good to be paranoid na pag may tumawag sa iyo diyan, then you can also ask questions, no? Bago ka magbigay ng kahit na legit na yon na kumpanya, bago ka magbigay ng information, then you can also ask them kung ano yung information na kailangan mo para maging kampante ka or maging tataas yung level na hindi ka maging biktima. So parang maging paranoid ka din, no? Kung sa akin naman, ang lagi kong sinasabi sa ganitong session natin, ang maging paranoid ka. Maging paranoid ka sa lahat ng natatanggap mong text, natatanggap mong tawag, natatanggap mong email, pinupuntahan mong website, maging paranoid ka, no? Kahit na tama yung pinuntahan mo, pero i-scrutinize mo pa din para magkaroon ka ng additional pa na confidence na ito ay tama talaga. Mayroong mga technical parameters na pwedeng gawin pero mahirap naman yun ang isabihin natin dito kasi hindi naman lahat ng mga audience na manonood nito ay mga technical. So ganoon na, maging paranoid ka. Tandaan mo na hindi tatawag sa iyo yung mga bangko para hingin yung iyong credentials, yung credentials mo na mga personal information katulad ng sinabi ni Ramon, no, wag ninyong ibigay yon. Kung legit man yon, tatawag ulit yon. Okay? Basta wag na wag ninyong ibigay yon. VP Oka?
Yes. Sarap makinig, ano?
So, dahil nakinig ka lang,
No, kasi I've experienced all of this asking for this. And sometimes, you get to fight with these callers, ano. But again, as I said, sabi nga, we embrace the concept of zero trust, di ba? Always, don't trust, always verify. When you are subjected to this kind of challenge or situation, ano.
Right.
Yeah. And then Mr. Chair, siguro bago ako nagpapasalamat sa mga sa our speakers, but I would also like to take the opportunity to invite the viewers, the friends of the viewers, to be a member of Pix Pro, and be part of our mission to not only secure the Philippine cyberspace, but as our topic now, to help inform our customer, create awareness of fraudulent transactions or situations and how they can avoid it, and not be a victim of fraudulent transactions. So please inform your friends, your colleagues about being a member. We have a honorable mission of protecting our cyberspace and now helping protect our consumers, be it banking, be it other industries, as we embrace a more digital life, and I would like to end again, sabi nga ni Noel kanina, as we embrace a more digital lifestyle, a more digital government, industries, and business. Sabi nga natin, if there's a glitch in that digital infrastructure, then government can fall, businesses can fall, and even your money, your savings, can fall into the wrong hands, and that's not gonna be good for everyone. So again, thank you, Mon, thank you, Noel, and hopefully we
My
can
pleasure.
invite you again in the future. And in behalf of our viewers,
By all means.
maraming,
Yes.
maraming salamat po.
Yeah, the more we can impart the reminder to everyone, it's best
Oo.
for the industry and the consumer.
Tama.
No?
Mm-mm.
So
Tama.
we're
Tama.
we're here to be part of that evangelical mission.
You have our full support.
Actually,
Definitely.
going back to that membership, no, baka isipin nila na mga techie lang ang pwedeng sumali sa Pix Pro. Ang Pix Pro, meron tayong programa, yung awareness program natin na focused on ano uh, talking about the dangers of the internet to women and children. Kasi merong mga same dangers, no, para sa mga anak natin na
Mga
lagi
bata.
nang naka-online ngayon dahil sa
Tama.
online learning. Tapos yung mga babae na laging most of the time sila nabibiktima ng mga kung ano-anong mga katarantaduhan sa internet. So meron din tayong so even if you are a parent, even if you are not a techie parent, even if you are a housewife, you will have a lot of information that you can get to increase the security of your children when online, and also your own security. And of course, wag natin kalimutan ang ating Vice President for Finance, Madam Sheila Vasquez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you so much. And Sir Noel, thank you very much. I mean, it's nice to see you again after a year. And of course, to my mentor and very supportive na boss, no, si Ramon, always been there to help me. So I guess my parting words, I'm also guilty myself. I sacrifice sometimes security for convenience. For example, when I'm transacting, I always use my Facebook for authentication. So I guess that's a reminder, I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast. It's a wake-up call. So Miss Shari, you have to change the password na. Huwag na gamitin yung pangalan ng dog mo, okay? Yun lang po. Thank you.
Okay,
Sir,
so
yung next week.
yes, go ahead.
So we have a training, no, enhanced next generation firewall training next week, no. And then yung mga attendees natin are all the way from the Cantilan back, no, from Central Luzon State Universities, and from so many other. So it's coming from all over the place, and this is again to help educate, our kababayan, no, on this, new stuff, no, the next generation firewall, no. So that will be on July 28 and 29. No? So and then
Kaso puno na yata o ka.
puno na, it's puno na, follow up the networks, and then kasunod na dito RSA naman, no, after
Training.
this. And then our other technology partners will also be giving away, sabi nga natin, giving away training, no, for our members and potentially future members.
All the way from Mindanao, Davao. We
Yeah,
have
so
attendees from
Cantilan
Davao.
Bank, the hometown of my wife. So 4 of them. So I'm happy about it. And
So
Central Luzon.
natin, VP Oka, let's invite them also, not just to become a member.
Yeah.
You can also create your own chapter, no, in your area. We will be activating Pix Pro Davao City in the next few days, and other chapters will also follow.
Mm-mm.
So the more we don't believe that the users are the weakest link. With a better information and with a sustained information dissemination campaign, users will become a force multiplier in combating cyber threats, cyber fraud, or cybercrime. With that, Mr. Noel Santiago and Mr. Ramon Karingal, maraming salamat po sa inyong naibigay na mga kaalaman, no? Hindi lang sa ating mga Pix Pro members, but to all our audience. Good night at happy weekend sa inyong lahat. Pero sa cybersecurity, happy lang kami, wala kaming weekend.
Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.